Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast, and today it is a 4 vs 4. It is a user-submitted replay, and we will check out our players. On the left side, we have our Blue 4 team, Scala Boblets, CAV, Fox Task Force 141 and 0, and on the right side, our Red 4 team, Pawns, Element, NK, and Kamayatsu. Hope I said all those right. If I didn't, well, I apologize. But we will get this started and speed it up to the 10x mark until all the units come out. And see how this game goes. All the players choosing where they're going to be going here. Looks like 2 over here and 2 over here. And off we go. Already with the SUs moving out, but short arrows moving out right up below them and may take them out right off the bat here. Loses one of those short arrows right off the bat to the MI-24s. And Akula's moving right out and loses the Akula right off the bat, and that's an unfortunate loss as that is a pretty expensive unit. And on the right side here, bringing some troops into the town line of Charlie. Tunguska moving up, T-62s and T-90S moving on the left side here. Alpha being taken by a pretty big force, and I wouldn't say you really need all this to take Alpha, but we will see. And just some recon is needed, and I would say this is a bit better bet. Some BRDM3s over here in Lima. And now lots of armor moving in on Charlie, and this is certainly not good. We have an M1A2 Abrams in the woods to defend against this, but it's quite a bit to defend against. 2 T-90Ss. Definitely way more than a M1A2 can handle there, especially with the T-62 in the middle of it all as well. So gonna have to bring up some armor immediately to handle this. Either that or some air power to take out some of this armor and backing it off. And I wouldn't say that he needs to back that off right now, as that M1A2 Abrams is really not enough to handle that. So I think he could have taken Charlie over. And meanwhile, on the left side of the map here, U.S. Marines going out of here with some Spetsnaz, BTR-90s, BTR-70s moving in. Igla way in the back there, about to be handled by some LVTPs. And tons of Marines here moving through the wood line. Spetsnaz and their BTR-90s now firing away. SMAs, though. 2 squads of SMAs going to take out these BTRs, no problem. If they get the chance to fire, unfortunately, it does take out all those BTR Spetsnaz, just blasting away on them, though. We have Gru and just regular Spetsnaz with the napalm. So unfortunately, this SMA here will not last too long. We have tons of U.S. Marines, though, merging over towards those Spetsnaz. Should be able to take those out. Loses a Nighthawk. Looks like 2 Iglas and the Book there. Charlie still secure for now. And all those T-90s, 2 T-90s and that T-62 there could have easily pushed into Charlie, but he simply didn't know what was there, so he was a little bit scared and moved on back. And that M1A2 Abrams was not enough. A second M1A2 Abrams is now being brought in, a Hemet to repair up that first M1A2. And a BRDM here has been brought in to the middle of the ocean. Well, actually being brought across there. And now going after those 2 Bisons. So BRDM versus Bisons, and I'm going to give it to the BRDM there. And holding the center pretty well. Echo here. Not really in danger at all. Golf is still neutralized. No CV in Golf at all. Even questioning CV. +1 advantage for our Red 4 team right now. 91-0. And those U.S. Marines not going to be moving up to the edge of the line, but they're not going to be able to do too much more there. As we have a river here, it's going to actually have to pack up in the LVTPs to actually make it over the river. And that could be a bad thing, could get destroyed before he does that. T-72 there would take out the LVTPs as they cross. And M1A2 Abrams being brought up here to the edge. Looks like 2 of them. And if we can get some recon at the edge here, could be able to see all of this going on. And MI-25 and the K-52 being brought over there for recon. And BRDM certainly sunk those two Bisons with that 30 mil. Over there's two squads of Eric's over here. I'll take out that BRDM as soon as it gets too close. Once it's in a 1,000-meter range, K-52 just behind it to see. And M1A2s here. A little bit too far back in the woods to fire on all of this here, but if he moves up just any more, gonna get hit by the K-52 there. Rather the Mi-25. Buratino blasting away, and doesn't get too much. Just really some LVTPs in there. And nobody cares about LVTPs, although those are the good ones with the 40mm frags on them. K-52 certainly spots everything in the water here. And it looks like the Bison's going to run out of fuel there over the water. And that's very unfortunate for that crew. And Norov now being brought over in the woods here. And Chaparral needs to be brought back or it's going to be lost. And CS also up front here for CS. And here the CS go now fired away on that Norov and instantly stuns it with their high suppression rate. And CS are such good fun. And destroys the Norov. And BTR 90 now makes it over. And Spetsnaz GRU are out and about. And we do have 20 Pioneers here. So Pioneers versus Spetsnaz GRU. And I'd say the CS can move up and take out those Spetsnaz. It'd be no problem for him. And we also have 25 Marines here as well. Bradley CFV fires away on the BMDs, trying to move across the river there, and takes out one of them. Going to fire again shortly here, but I doubt it's going to be out of range by that time, and nothing left to fire on. Egla firing at the Huey there. Pioneers with the napalm just roasting these Spetsnaz. Now bringing over a BRDM and a BMD with some troops in it as well. And we have a double Patriot here in the back. Any aircraft fly over there, they're going to have a really bad day there. And I would say you could spread those out a little bit, but whatever works. And Nighthawk flying overhead. Nighthawk way away from the battle there. Doesn't really want to lose that. And not too many targets for it, really. B-150 under fire from the Mi-24, but Mi-24 is all out of cluster rockets there. I'll resort to that 12-7. And these poor bastards in the water are taken out there. Over the ADAT's now firing away at the Mi-24 and loses that. And desperately trying to push over tons of troops here. And lots of Spetsnaz GRU being brought out here. And now 28 Marines here going to engage 20 Spetsnaz. And 26 Marines over this way. So quite a bit of firepower here. And unfortunately didn't really split these up, so they're pretty stunned. All in one place, but check out that BTR there, or the BMD. Either way, whichever. And the Spetsnaz GRU are taken out there. U.S. Marines down to 10. And I'm going to try and back these off, getting stunned there. And down to 4, going to lose this squad. And mortars blasting all over the area here. And taking some out. BTR 70 makes it across the water. And we have a couple BTR 90s also making their way across as well. PR90 made its way forward, but unfortunately 3 CS takes it out. And M1A2 is now being brought forward. And the other M1A2 all the way over here. And looks like the Spetsnaz crew don't get a chance to fire. If they did, they didn't do too much, because it only has 1 bar of health missing. And bombs dropped all over the Shiki there, but looks like he's going to be making it. And Gordas directly being fired on by the Shiki. B5 drops on the town there. Doesn't take out too much there. And by setting these M1A2s up at the edge of the wood line here, it can stop all of this push of these BTRs moving across. And it looks like that was the last one for now. And a Mulk has been brought up here. Now going to be firing away on the wood line. And what is it going to be hitting? And those 2 Patriots have been brought up too, and they're in a pretty dangerous position. And they're out in the open, and if they get spotted and taken out, that'd be a pretty big loss. Fiorentino now firing away. And getting quite a bit in its fire path there. M1A2 and the U.S. Marines, pretty much everything there. And now the woods are on fire pretty good. U.S. Marines are trapped in some fire good and deep. So many riflemen in the town there. Spread out pretty well. And the 2 M1 Abrams really not doing too much. Brought them all the way back in the woods and never really used them since. As well as those T90s. Brought those to the edge of the wood line there. And CH moving forward here, scouting out. And is lost there. PT-85 looks like firing at the Humvee here. Not going to be too big of a deal. And Humvee's backing off as fast as they can there for their lives, and they make it. M1A2 being brought over to the left side here. And I'm going to be firing at the Norov. And M1A2 misses. And quite hard to miss when you have a computer to fire. But they're panicked and a little bit jacked up. Spetsnaz moving over to the left side here. 5 left there. K-29 firing away, hitting that Abrams. Not doing too much though. Good old Abrams. And F-16 misses. And smoke being requested all over here by the Blue 4 team to stop anything from firing. Looks like a push is going to be coming shortly here. And there are tons of troops in these Grizzlies and Bisons. And looks like that is what he's going to be moving forward if he can get some smoke. And it is coming here with these Mi-125s and coming all over the place. And this is a pretty well-coordinated smoke drop. And it is coming from everywhere. And this might be actually pretty epic. That is a lot of smoke. And so we'll see what happens here in a moment. Gotta be suspecting something's up when you get hit by that much smoke. You better be ready, I suppose. And T-80s should push forward outside of that smoke, at the very least. And they could see everything coming. Here comes the push now. All these troops, multiple Grizzlies and LVTPs. And pushing forward as fast as he can here. And CS pushing across the left side here. LVTP's pushing across as well. And 2 F-16Cs moving overhead here to try and stop anything. B5 now moving across, and we'll see what it can hit. And if you can get an excellent hit here, a hit right here would be pretty decent. And what is going to happen? B5. Did it drop? I didn't actually see it. And no, it looks like it turned away. And now all the APCs have made it to the wood line, to the smoke line, that is. Canadian Airborne now being brought out and getting blasted away here by the Ka-52. Or rather, the Mi-25 there. Stupid Ka-52 is always juking me out. And CS moving across the way and firing at T-72. Bold-ass CSs there. And not going to do too much, but hell, they're going to try. And stunning that T-72, so they're doing work. Eric's brought forth here. U.S. Marines now bringing out Canadian Airborne all over the place, pushing forward. And no other pushes going across the map here. Tons of 120mm mortars there. And now trying to push into the wood line here, and looks like some of it's being stalled. Looks like a lot of it has been destroyed. U.S. Marines down to 8 here. Pioneers are in there as well. Canadian Airborne trying to push forward. And tons of mortars now being blasted all over the place here. Mortars coming down on the VDV. And tons of mortars hitting those VDV. Dropping their numbers pretty quick there. Bell 204 flying overhead for no reason and blasting away into the wood line there. M1A2 set up now at the edge of the wood line here. Anything moving forward there is going to have a bad day. And looks like the push is running out of steam just a little bit, but all the mortar power coming down is taking out a lot of these troops here. And VDV now under fire from the Bison. Attack has been called there by the Red Fort team, spotting that M1A2 Abrams. Cobra firing away at some troops here. And Cobra is out in the middle of nowhere here. Bradley in a wood line. And going to be firing at the Bagangsu. And probably not going to last too long at that. And looks like the Canadian Airborne has made it deep into the woods. 45 Marines here. And Commandos Para moving their way up the wood line there. And Grizzlies being brought in. Even more troops. Jaegers now being dropped off. And 4 CS moving in on the situation here. We've got 14 Marines just chilling back here. They're just having a good time. And Canadian Airborne have been dropped off in the middle of fire. And that was a terrible place. That is like their Normandy there. Commandos have been brought all the way to the top of the mountain there for excellent recon, and 44 Marines have also made their way to the top. Pioneers now trying to napalm all these VDV down. And BTR is being brought in, Sappery is being brought in as well. And it looks like this is just constant here, this push, and it is working now. Looks like the Red Fort team is now running out of steam, and some M1 IP Abrams being brought in. And mortars continue to rain on anything that challenges this push. And defense has been called by the Red Fort team. Yeah, you'd figure. That's kind of a late call. M1 IP, a couple cheapies, but will do the job for sure. Only has that 105mm. And those mortars making their way all the way to those Malkas. And M1 IPs being brought forward here to challenge the T-72s, takes those out. And now just a BTR T left. And trying to frag up these infantry, and not going to do too much there. And now India's in a little bit of trouble, and pushing forward with Canadian Airborne across the open, but looks like these guys are not going to fare so well, as there's some T-80s set up here. There's also a BRDM. As soon as they get in and about that range, they're going to get peppered up. Even more Marines now being brought in. And all these Marines here were taken out, a whole lot of them, by Mi-25s. A couple Mi-25s now being stunned here. And Buratino, well, it looks like by their own Buratino's firing, but it can't quite get over the mountain there. And he's actually stunning the Mi-25s. So a wasted shot from the Buratino there. And forward operating base has been captured now by the Blue 4 team, and only one M1 IP left. Now a huge push now being brought in. Tons of Humvees, riflemen being brought in, more than likely. We have Canadian Airborne and the Grizzlies. CS, Bison's incoming as well. And so much incoming. We have a longbow in the back now too, and some DAPs being brought up to deal with any of those MI helicopters. And Patriots even being brought forward. Everything's being brought forward. CV also being brought forward here and going around the long way, and tons of stuff. Canadian Airborne and U.S. Marines being pushed forward. 33 Marines, and Spetsnaz crew not going to be able to handle all this, and their numbers lowering very, very quickly there. And with that forward operating base there, they're actually being, as soon as they stop, they can actually be resupplied. And once they are not shaken and such, pretty interesting. Leopard's firing away at the T-72, takes that out. T-72 and a T-72BU over here. And gonna be a little hard to take these out here, firing away and defending themselves pretty good, but not gonna last forever. Oh, and loses all those. And it looks like a push from the Red 4 team is now being brought forth on Charlie. So many T-90s. Two T-90s rather, T-62s, T-64s being pushed forward, so we'll see what they can do here. But there's two M1 Abrams, M1A2 Abrams over here in the wood line, just blasting away, taking turns here, taking out. And one of the Abrams almost lost there, 1 bar of health, very lucky. And tanks being moved to the wood line. Unfortunately, they're moving right towards U.S. Marines with AT-4s. And now firing away on those T-62s. U.S. Marines not going to last too long. They're doing a little bit of damage to those T-62s. And that push continues and pushing even deeper into India. Now India has been completely neutralized. And U.S. Marines, M1IP Abrams still going strong here. Leopards being brought all the way over to the left side here. The CV over here, the only thing left holding India together, and they are not going to last too much longer. 2 men left, and we have a couple of Grizzly and the Grizzly and the Bison firing on them, and no more is that CV. And there is a CV back here as well, so a couple CVs there in India. And Canadian Airborne take out that Buk IL-102 here, dropping on all of this nonsense, and takes out quite a bit there. And a massive fight ensuing here. Akula all the way up there. And looks like the Red 4 push has pushed more so to the left side, but lost a majority of his armor to those M1A2 Abrams there hidden in the wood line. And we have a couple of M1 IPs, 3 M1 IPs over here to try and deal with this push. Bradley's being brought around the back side of India. India not doing too good here. CV is the only thing holding it together back here by the looks of it, indeed. And we have 2 CVs here for our Blue 4 team. And now the push from the left side here is coming over to the right. Right side's coming over to the left. And we have 37 riflemen here to try and deal with these VDV and BTR-90. On the right side here, longbow just firing away at all the armor, taking out quite a bit there. Looks like the T-90 was taken out as well, and the T-62s. And that longbow is just going to town there. It is all out of Hellfire missiles now. 17 VDV going after the Patriots. And unfortunately, the Patriots were in the wrong place, and they are running for their lives. And looks like they actually make it away there. Very surprising. Rifleman, as usual, not doing too good against the VDV and the Spetsnaz. CV still safe for now. The Hyundai pretty much the only thing holding them back in the Spetsnaz over here. 7 VDV versus Canadian Airborne. 1 Canadian Airborne squad lost. And 9 versus 5 there. And a help has been called there. And I don't think you're going to get too much help. Unfortunately, this push, there is not too much around here to help. 7 riflemen remaining against about 7 troops there. Grizzly firing away on them, though. And now the Leopard's moving up on those CV troops. Just 1 man left holding together India. And no more now belongs to the Blue 14. +2 advantage, 144 to 116. And the push has been stalled by the Blue 14 and Charlie here, but Charlie's not been captured. It's still being held by our Blue 14 by the TACCOM there. Just now bringing in a UAZ, except the M1A2s are pushing forward. And Eagle dropping. And looks like he's going to miss the majority. Got quite a bit there, I suppose. UAZ being brought over to the town to try and hold that. Unfortunately, I have to take out that TACCOM first. Looks like those mortars are firing at it now. And has plenty of mortars here, which could be firing all of them almost out of fuel. Now the push continues to Juliet. And all the troops in India now moving towards Juliet here. And really only one way in for the Red 4 right now. And flying overhead here, hitting the M1A2. Takes out 1A2 there with the Su-25, but more than likely going to lose this Su-25 to dual F-16 blocks and pretty much everything on the ground there. So lost an M1A2 there, but I would say at a high cost, considering it lost all the Red 4 team lost all the armor in the beginning there. The M1 IPs being brought up. And some troops now going to be dropped off in the town. And riflemen need to get out as soon as possible there. And don't get out in time. And lost some of those riflemen unnecessarily. Riflemen and MrSotko going at it. 9 to 5 there. But we have Canadian Airborne surrounding them. So Charlie looks like it's going to be safe for now. And Esma's now moving at the VDV with the LEV Scout as well. And finishes off those VDV, no problem there. Captures Juliet. Now a +6 advantage for our Blue 4 team. C-72 firing at the CS there. And going to lose those, but not going to be too big of a deal as they're only 20. And MrSotko holding out pretty well. And just 2 men left in that squad, so it won't last too much longer. Longbow backing off there. K-52 finishes that off. And finally, I didn't get juked out by the K-52. K-52 officially took that out. And now trying to force the out the Red 4 from this hill here. And just 1 MrSotko in the BRDM recon. So not too much in there left. And it's moving towards the ESMA there. M1A2 is out in the open, fearing nothing right now. And LAV Scout is pushing forward. Takes out the Spetsnaz. And BRDM making it to ground here. And it's going to be the game changer. Here's the game changer, the BRDM. Get him, BRDM. Get him. It's actually a pretty intimidating cannon there. All those bullets. Damn. And BRDM is panicked and stunned and not working too well there. So I think our hero BRDM is not going to make it. Leopards moving across like Apache in the air as well. Leopards blasting away at the BTRs there. And just one BTR left and some Spetsnaz. So nothing holding together Juliet. Nothing to save it there. Now Delta's in a little bit of trouble. M1IP moving forward, 3 of them at the T-64s. T-64s firing back, and the CS gonna try and stun those T-64s, but unfortunately not working just yet. And there goes our Red 4 team, our Blue 4 team, the winner, with a very excellent push there using smoke, and a very fun replay. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.